Good morning, students. Myself, Dr. Raghasudha, Head and Assistant Professor, Department of Microbiology, Government City College, Hyderabad, is here to talk on foodborne diseases. World Health Organization estimates that 1 in 3 people worldwide suffer from a foodborne disease every year. 1.8 million die from severe food and waterborne diarrhea related illnesses. Most of these illnesses are due to microorganisms and chemical contaminants, which may occur naturally or introduced at some point along the food chain. Campylobacter and Salmonella species account for over 90% of all reported cases of bacteria related to food poisoning worldwide. As most cases of foodborne diseases are not reported, the true dimension of the problem is unknown. Today, food safety is one of WHO's top 11 priorities. Food safety and security. The World Food Summit, organized by FAO in 1996, recognized that access to safe food is in itself an element of food security. The World Health Assembly resolution on food safety from May 2000 states that everyone should have the right to an adequate supply of safe, nutritious food, encourages WHO members states to implement and keep national and, when appropriate, regional mechanisms for foodborne disease surveillance. Government should take the necessary steps to ensure the availability of safe food for all in order to sustain the health and economic development of their people. Classification of foodborne diseases. Foodborne infection caused due to entrance of pathogenic microorganisms contaminating food into the body. The body reacts by raising temperature, causing fever. Longer incubation period causes foodborne infections. Foodborne infection is different from foodborne intoxication, wherein here consumption of food containing biotoxins or metabolic products or poisonous substances of the microorganisms results in food intoxication. Events of foodborne diseases. The contaminated food is the reservoir of the pathogen. When the food is contaminated with viral, parasitic, or bacteria, they are known as contaminated. Growth of pathogenic bacteria occurs in the contaminated food, and when this food is consumed, the food with living organisms is known as infection. Food plus toxins is known as intoxication. Infection can be invasive infection or toxic infection. Main causes of foodborne diseases are cross contamination, which occurs when microorganisms are transferred from one surface or food to another. Second cause is time temperature abuse. It happens when food is exposed to temperature danger zone 41 degrees Fahrenheit to 140 degrees Fahrenheit for more than 4 hours. And the third factor is poor personal hygiene. Food handlers are the carriers of disease causing bacteria. Food service personnel can contaminate food. Food infection is caused by bacteria, virus, and pathogens, parasitic pathogens. Firstly, we begin with bacterial food infection. The most predominant one is salmonellosis. It is a foodborne caused by Salmonella species. Optimum conditions for the growth of this bacteria is 10 to 45 degrees centigrade at a pH of 4 to 9 with a water activity of 0.93. Incubation period is 12 to 36 hours. Source is unrefrigerated meat and poultry. Symptoms are nausea, vomiting, greenish foul stools, fever, weakness, and drowsiness. Prevention is holding food at 66 degrees centigrade for 12 minutes to kill organisms, eliminating contaminated food, cooking food for sufficient time, and proper storing by cooling. Salmonellosis caused by salmonella, it is a facultative anaerobic bacteria usually transferred or caused due to fecal contamination. It is a type of bacterial infection and symptoms are stomach cramps, diarrhea, headache, nausea, fever and vomitings. Food source is soil, insects, raw meat, fish, eggs, raw salad dressings, sliced fruits and vegetables. The second type of bacterial infection is gastroenteritis caused by Clostridium perfringensis. The optimum conditions for growth of this bacterium is 20 to 55 degrees centigrade at a pH of 5 to 9. It is highly heat resistant. Incubation period is 10 to 24 hours. The sources of this bacteria is raw foods and food that are cooled slowly and held some time before consumption. Symptoms abdominal pain, diarrhea, gas formation. Prevention is heating above 60 degrees centigrade followed by rapid cooling of cooked meat and other foods, reheating leftovers and personal hygiene. Bacillus is also known for food borne disease. The optimum condition for this bacterium is 10 to 49 degrees centigrade and pH is 4.9 to 9.3. Incubation 2 to 8 hours. Sources is contaminated food, cereals, mashed potatoes, veg sprouts, meatloafs and puddings. Symptoms nausea, abdominal cramps, vomiting and diarrhea. Prevention is holding food above 65 degrees centigrade and reheating leftovers for 72 degrees centigrade and personal hygiene. The next type of bacterial infection is caused by Escherichia coli. Escherichia coli are harmless unless they are enteropathogenic Escherichia coli. The incubation period is 8 to 24 hours. Symptoms are vomiting, dehydration, fever, headache, abdominal cramps and diarrhea. Prevention is cooking food properly, rapid chilling of foods, use of protected water, ensuring personal hygiene. Shigellosis is a bacterial dysentery caused by Shigella species. Source is most foods like milk, potatoes, shrimps, tuna, turkey, apple and cigar. Symptoms are again fever, abdominal cramps, chills, mucus and pus, bloody stools, headache, nausea and dehydration. Prevention, personal hygiene, control of flies, use of purified water and sanitary conditions. Apart from bacteria, viruses are also known to cause foodborne diseases. The first one is hepatitis A virus, heptovirus or hepatitis A virus. It is found in human intestinal and urinary tract and contaminated water. Symptoms are fever, fatigue, headache, nausea, stomach pain, vomiting and jaundice. Incubation time is 2 to 10 months after contaminated food and water is consumed, and the food source are oysters and raw vegetables. The second type of virus is Norwalk virus. The symptoms are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pains, headache and low-grade fever. Source of food is contaminated water, shellfish from contaminated waters and contaminated fruits and vegetables. The third type of virus is rotavirus. It is the leading cause of severe diarrhea among infants and children. Symptoms are vomiting, low-grade fever, watery diarrhea. Transmission is person to person spread through contaminated hands. We have vaccination for rotavirus. which has been given to children and infants. Apart from bacteria and viruses, even parasites cause foodborne diseases. Parasites like Giardia, Cyclospora and Cryptosporidium causes foodborne diseases. Cyclosporiosis caused by Cyclospora caetaneiasis. Symptoms: infections that infect the small intestine, watery diarrhea, loss of appetite, bloating, stomach cramps, nausea, vomiting and low grade fever. Food sources are berries, lettuce and fresh herbs. The second type of parasite is Giardia duodenalis, causing giardiasis, a single cell microorganism called protozoa. The symptoms are diarrhea, stomach cramps and nausea. Food sources are undercooked pork. The third type of parasite is Trichonella spiralis, causing trichonellosis. This parasite looks like a small hairy root worm. Symptoms are nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain. Later stages are fever, swelling of tissues around the eyes, muscle stiffness and death. Food sources are undercooked pork and sausages, ground meats contaminated through meat grinders. Thank you.